Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's crooked. I'm crooked. Okay. Happy New Year. I'm crooked. Welcome back to my channel, Miss Damn Jewelry. I'm Dolores. Hello, LaDonna. Hey, girl. Hey. It's good to see you. I'm back. Back in the UK. It's been back almost a week now, and it was good. It was good. I'll wait till some more people come in here. It's good to see you, LaDonna. I saw you had a bunch of snow. Why is what? There we go. I saw you had a bunch of snow there. Uh, and is it North Dakota you live in? Is it surprising that you have this much snow, or is this like normal for you this time of year? Why am I crooked? Okay. All right. All right. So I'm in a different location. I'm in my house, but I'm in a different location of my house because the room I normally do it in is chocker block full with stuff. Hey, Amanda. A happy new year to you. And I hope everybody had a good new year. I hope everybody had a good Christmas. Monica, hello, Monica. I hope you enjoyed the festive period. Hey, Sally. And still getting snow today, 7 inches. Oh, sorry, I'll put it up there so everybody can read it. With gusts, so we have some drifts. Omaha, Nebraska. Why I think it's North Dakota, Nebraska. Well, I guess I mean, is that normal? Is that normal? Supposed to get 8. Oh, here we go. Girl, how y'all heat keep up with that? Ooh, I was in Texas, you wouldn't have no heat. Just saying. Why is this there? Um, so I hope everybody had a good holiday, a good festive period, ate, drank, made some New Year's resolutions that you'll probably keep till February, which is fine. No judgment. No judgment. My New Year's resolution was I'm not gonna make any. Thank you. there you go. Enough said. I'm not gonna. And it's not that I'm not gonna make any, but I think you should try to do good stuff every day or new stuff every day. So my oh she's going to Venice. Oh, Amanda's going to Venice. Cool. Why does this keep happening? Why am I so close to the camera? I think I have the camera the wrong way around. Maybe that's it. But Michigan is, oh girl, no ma'am, no ma'am. We had some massive snowstorms some years, others nothing. I guess it just depends on the Oh, you're in Mexico, Monica. Oh my God, I'm so glad you went home. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's so good. It's nice to go home. You know what? I enjoyed it. We did a lot. I did a lot of driving because it's all you're not going to take no public transport in Texas. Um, I mean, you might take it in Houston, but you know, you probably regret it. So I drove a lot. Drove across Texas. Saw all my friends, saw my family, saw the people I wanted to see. Hung out with Beth from Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties. So I got to do a lot, and I stayed 26 days, which was fine when I booked it, but by the last week, I was like, I just want to come home to my cats. My cats need me. I need my cats for emotional support. Let's get the cameras off crooked. For emotional support, and I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back in rainy England and cold England, and it's been quite. It rained the whole time here while I was gone, so there's that. I'm glad I missed that. Can say I'm glad I missed that. It was nice in Texas. It was typical Texas weather. It was cold one day, and then like in the 70s the next. So you know what to expect in Texas. Oh, why am I? Oh, am I still live? Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. My comments aren't coming up, so sorry if I'm not seeing the comments. Here we go. Emotional support. Yeah, my cats are my emotional support. Yeah. It was good, very good. I was good. It was good to go back home, but now I'm back home. So with my cats and everything, and Dave's gone off to Suffolk to see his grandson is in a panto, and he went to go see that. I had to work, unfortunately, so she had the joy of grain. Oh, I saw that groin pet. Girl, I saw that on Instagram. Patted you down, girl. You know what I mean? Like, wow. Yeah, I bet you were glad to get home. When I went through, this is funny. When I went through security into Houston, when we went into Houston, they're like, "Look at your passport." Yeah, all right, thanks. To me and Dave, and but when you're leaving Houston and going out out, like you're going into the airport of Houston to leave Houston, you go to the TSA. Oh my God. I mean, look, I'm glad they did the job. I'm glad they're very, 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 do it, but I can't believe you got, wait, oh my God. Did they stop you for all the glass and the carry-on? Maybe that's what they saw. They stopped me and like checked my handbag. I'm like, I don't know what's in there, but there was nothing. They were like, yeah, you can go. So there's that. Yeah. So, good to see that everybody probably had a good Christmas. Again, like I said, I had a great Christmas. It was fun. I'm glad to get back to normalcy. I still have Christmas up behind me. Don't judge me. I haven't had a chance to take it down yet. I will. I'm thinking I will probably do it this Sunday. Fingers crossed. Because it's yeah, I haven't had time. I've had to go. No, the bag had wheels, so that was what? Wait, hang on. Wheels. I mean, aren't they? Don't most of them have wheels? That's bizarre. I'd be mad. I'd be like, should I take them up? Hey, Mike. Glad the holidays are over. Yeah, I am too. It's kind of good to get back to a little normalcy, a little bit like all the excitement, all the rush. Or if you don't enjoy the holidays, it's like, let's get out of the way, get it done. Let's be done with it. So, yeah, girl, I'd never fly United again. I flew Singapore Airlines, so they was good as gold. So yeah, and you can have like all kinds of suitcases on Singapore. Trust me, I tested that theory when I came back. So, yeah, so I'm glad you've popped in. I know people are busy after Christmas. Like I said, I got home, landed Saturday, had Sunday off, and went back to work Monday. So I haven't had a chance to take any of this Christmas stuff down. I will. I don't know, maybe just leave it up till next Christmas. I mean, it's pretty. I can just leave it up. But and that's another dilemma. I have don't know what to do with this, what to put up now, because it's kind of like that in between. It's like, do I put up blue glass, which I don't have a lot of? Do I just put up? I'm thinking all cat stuff, like vintage cat stuff, like cats, basically. Just cats. Hey, Jamie, there's my bestie from Texas, who I stayed with a large part of the trip, and she was probably glad to get rid of me. So, putting up blue and white. Here's the thing, I don't have a lot of white or blue. I have some blue, but not enough to make a whole, go with the Mardi Gras theme. Thank you, Jamie. I do have purple, green, and a little bit of yellow. So maybe I'll do that, because that'll be, yeah. Because I was going to do Valentine's Day. I don't have enough red either. So, oh, we miss you too, Jamie. We had a lot. Don't go shopping. It's all Easter stuff. So, you know what? I went to, Amanda, I went to Home Bargains today. And yeah, all the Easter stuff was out. I mean, I had a little bit of Valentine's, but it's all Easter. All Easter. It's like, I wish it was the weather of Easter. But, well, that's kind of rainy here. So, it just rains a lot here. Right. So today we are back, y'all, with a Vintage News Hour. And like the first one I did, we're just going to talk about some fun vintage news that I found while reading the news, basically. So it's like little stories that pop up that I get on my news feed. Nothing crazy, nothing bad, all happy, 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 or funny, or strange. So that's kind of what we're doing here at Vintage Live Chat, and everybody can participate. You can talk to each other. You can talk to me. You can just be a lurker. It's absolutely fine. You can, have an opinion. You're allowed an opinion here. It's absolutely fine. It doesn't have to match mine or anybody else's. So that's what Vintage News Hour is. And I pick topics. So y'all, look at this fancy. Wait, I have to show you. I got a stand-up because this is how much I love y'all. I got a stand-up clipboard so I can look at my notes without, doing this or doing this. Everybody sees my roots. We don't need that. So, but it was supposed to come yesterday, and it didn't. Let's tell you a story, real quick story. I was supposed to get this clipboard yesterday, and I didn't come. And so when I got home, I thought, man, I'm going to have to figure something out, because I don't want to be holding up papers and stuff. So I got this little, it was almost like a easel, like a metal easel. and I put a cookie sheet on it, like I set the cookie sheet on it, and then I put magnets to hold my paper. I call it hood engineering. I can say that because I'm from the hood. So I did some really good hood engineering, but then this showed up. So I was like, I'll use a new one in case like the metal pan fell and there was a big noise. But I was quite impressed with my makeshift stand-up clipboard. I was impressed myself. So, but I didn't use it. Hey, H. Welch. Yes, long time no see. It's been so good. Always nice to make a change. Um, I do appreciate home again. The one in Texas and this one. I appreciate being back to some normalcy. Right. Today's news story. Okay, so let's talk about it. Like we were talking earlier with LaDonna, it is snowing a lot of places in the U.S. Texas is supposed to get a freeze. Hey, Jerry, you all right? Um, Even Texas is getting a freeze. I think Bree said it snowed in Kingston, Arizona. I don't know if she was in Kingston, but where it was in Arizona, it snowed there. Maybe that's not unusual. I don't know. I don't know geography as well as I should, but we're the depths of winter and we're always searching for ways to warm ourselves up, to keep us warm. And there's nothing more comforting than going to your cupboard or your cabinets and reaching in and, making yourself a hot drink. And in this case, like a cocoa, like a hot chocolate, or driving to the Starbucks or here the Costa and, ordering you a hot chocolate and zooming on your way. Well, that wasn't always the case with hot chocolate. No, it wasn't always that easy. And this is what we're going to talk about today: how hot chocolate became the winter beverage of choice. King Mania. Oh, King's High Desert. So, yeah, it snows there. Okay. So I don't know these things. I think Arizona's not go hot. I know there's mountains there. Don't come for me and my lack of geography. So today we're going to talk about how hot chocolate became the winter beverage of choice. And this story is from BBC History News. So I'll also tell you where I get my stories from. So, like I'm plagiarizing, I'm making them up. These are stories I've actually read. And this is from the BBC History News. So it's funny because only a few centuries ago, only the wealthy would be able to partake in hot chocolate and or partake in any chocolate. So they're the only chocolate back in the days and a few centuries ago was a hot liquid chocolate. There wasn't chocolate bars. There wasn't any of that. And the words hot and drinking came later. So when they referred to like in the we're talking like 1600s, 1700s, when they made hot chocolate, they didn't call it hot chocolate. It was just chocolate, just chocolate. There was no hot chocolate. There was no drinking chocolate. It was just chocolate. So, and actually, the hot and the drinking part came later when solid bars were invented. So the solid, like what you get now, Cadbury's, Hershey's, and they were invented by Fries of Bristol, England, in 1847. So according to my news, now don't come for me if Hershey was earlier. I don't know. But in this case, in this news story, Fries of Bristol was the first one to make a solid chocolate bar in 1847. So, and yeah, so, and cacao beans, or which is the raw, unprocessed version of cocoa, began to reach Europe through Spain from 1585 after the Spanish had colonized the Americas. So they started bringing the cacao bean back and started to play around with what they could do with the cacao bean. So and by 1657, I act like that yesterday. And by 1657, last week, by 1657, chocolate had arrived in London, and the first chocolate house opened after it opened in Queen's Head Alley near Bishopsgate, which is in London. Oh, girl, I'm sorry. There's a lag, so it's probably the cold. It's freezing up the lines. That's sure okay. And I also don't know anything about weather, so. But so chocolate was again for the wealthy. Which now you want to go get a chocolate bar. You go to the vending machine, or if you're the checkout. You're checking out groceries. You're going to the grocery store, and you're at the checkout counter. You're like, I'll take one of those Three Musketeer bars or Cadbury. You'll grab one. Not so easy back then. So this drink became very popular again amongst the wealthy, and I'll go into detail as to why it was only for the wealthy. And the popularity of this new drink led to an explosion of chocolate paraphernalia, or hot chocolate paraphernalia, as it wasn't known yet. Um, and George Garthorne, a London silversmith, made the earliest known silver chocolate pot in England in 1685. That's a long time ago. I didn't think they were that old, chocolate pots. I thought they were more of a 1800s kind of thing. Not saying they didn't use them then, but for the silver chocolate pot to be invented in 1685, that's really early on. And to go with this, there was an implement called a moulinette. So moulinette, or a chocolate mill, um, or like a chocolate stirrer, was invented, and this was needed because uh, of the high percentage of cocoa in the cocoa butter, and you had to mix it really, really hard. You had to really, 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 really mix it to make it like break up. So to make it like get into liquid form, so it's not lumpy. So the chocolate stirrer was made from a long piece of turned wood. So I think of it like, okay, like, when you get honey and you get the honey stir where it's got the wooden dowel, and then it's got the serrated end. That's what this looked like, I believe. It's so they turn it and they'd roll it in the palm of their hands into the chocolate. Well, the chocolate pot had a hole on the lid, so you'd put the chocolate in, you'd put the lid on, your stir would go in, then you'd put the top over the stir, and there's a hole for the stir to come up, and then that way they would go like this, and then chocolate would splash everywhere. I mean, when you want chocolate bad enough, you do anything. So sorry, I had to cough. Um, so you did this to whisk it, and the tall, narrow pots had a hole in the lid uh, for the stir, so you'd have like splash free, whisking. You could just do it, and so that was it. That's interesting because again, here's one thing I've never found. I've never found a chocolate pot. If I did see one, I did know that's what it was. So, and I know they're taller and longer, but we get teapots here that look like that. You'll go somewhere and it'll be a tall pot, and it'll be like a teapot. So I'm like, well, is it a chocolate pot? Only thing is, there's no hole for the stir. So that makes me think they weren't chocolate pots that I saw. So in the 1690s, several chocolate houses started to pop up in London. Um, and so what they would do, they would make this chocolate and they would infuse it with like citrus peel and jasmine and vanilla and ambergris. So ambergris, and that's amber and the word gris, so ambergris. I didn't know what ambergris was, so of course I Google ambergris, and here's what it is. Oh my God! So I was like, oh. Now apparently ambergris is a solid waxy substance originating in the intestine of a sperm whale, used in medicines and as a spice. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take my hot chocolate without ambergris. Thank you very much. I'm sure it's delicious. I'm sure you guys over there have you can have my ambergris because I'm not well done pretty much. I'm like, hold the ambergris. Yeah, like put the jasmine in, just hold the ambergris. You know what I mean? I'm like, woo. So, and that was expensive. So chocolate was expensive, and the chocolate houses that you'd go into, it was almost like a coffee bar. So you'd go in, you had to pay an entry fee. Like you couldn't just walk in and be like, I'm gonna have the hot chocolate with a little bit of citrus peel and the ambergris, please. Thank you. You had to pay to get in. You had to pay to get in. Well, now H-Watch, I don't know if all chocolate pots have the hole, but I know the ones that they used here in England had a hole to put I didn't know about the hole. I just thought they were tall. But like I said, I've seen tall pots and they were just teapots. So yes, I do have to. If you find it on the beach, you'll never have to work again. Yes, it is worth a lot of money, ambergris. It is, even now. Hey, Beth. It's highly prized. usually it's hopefully it's found. Um, it's very expensive stuff. It's like used in medicine. I've never heard of it. I was quite surprised and shocked when I found it. I thought it was going to be some kind of plant. I was like, well, gunk. Ooh, gross. Um, hey, everybody has their own taste. So, oh yeah, I didn't get it, girl. I have do not disturb on my phone. I'll get it later. So in the 17th century, having a chocolate kitchen in your house meant you were wealthy and bougie. Yes, yes, the bougie of them all in London, in the city, in the capital. The wealthy had chocolate kitchens, and sometimes it could just be a room with a chocolate pot, or it could be a series of rooms. You know what I mean? Like what? So I want a chocolate kitchen now. Knock that wall down and put me a chocolate kitchen now, please. But I would have all kinds of chocolate, like chocolate bars. So it could just be a room with a chocolate pot or a series of rooms. The chocolate kitchen at Hampton Court Palace was built for William III and Mary II. And it was a secure place where gilded chocolate pots, imagine gilded chocolate pots. Your chocolate is being made, rolling in gilded chocolate pots. Like, uh, okay, yes, please. Uh, and expensive chinaware were kept together, all together in, this chocolate kitchen. You had your gilded chocolate pot, you had your stirrer, and you had your fine, fine china. And this was where the chocolate would be poured in ornate receptacles before being served to the king and queen. Now, I need someone to come knock this wall out, put it in the chocolate kitchen, and I'm gonna need folks to serve me. Folks meaning Dave. Hey Heidi, you all right? How you doing? I'm gonna need folks, Dave, to serve me hot chocolate in beautiful receptacles made in a gilded pot. I mean, who's on board? I mean, why wouldn't you be? But King George the First, um, were they really? That must be a Scottish thing because I didn't see none of chocolate pots around her. Of course, I live in the hood, so even in England, I found the hood. No, I live in the hood. I mean, unless it's a hood full of old people, then yeah, I live in the hood. I didn't. That's interesting. I have a story about that later. But King George the First went a step further, and from 1717, he employed his own chocolate maker. That's right. He didn't just have a kitchen. He had someone to make. He had this guy. That's all this guy did. Tea chest to chocolate kitchen. I'm gonna need at least a chocolate kitchen. I'll work on the tea chest later. This guy said, you do that, you do that. King George the First, like, I have one guy. All I pay him to do is make me hot chocolate. I mean, I can be into that. So his chocolate maker was Thomas Tostier, who would have access to the king's chamber so he could serve him his morning drink of chocolate. Here you go, Your Highness. Here's your chocolate. I mean, I, I'm not a royal fan, but in this case, I want to be a royal person just to have. um, uh, this is what we were saying. I didn't know if I've seen them, I didn't know that's what they were here because tea is the thing here, right? So tea is all the things. Everybody drinks tea. So I probably walked past them and thought they were just teapots. Hey, what are you gonna do? Um, but fashionable and rich Londoners, unable to do anything in an understated manner, also started having dedicated chocolate kitchens installed in their home. I mean, I I would do the same if I had that kind of money. Staff would start the laborious process of roasting the cacao nuts. So this is why it's expensive. This is getting into why it costs so much and why you had to even pay to go into a chocolate house, which could you imagine just having to pay to go into a coffee shop? Like I'm going to go into Starbucks, but I have to pay to get in. I mean, crazy, no? That is, but this is why I'm about to tell you. Yes, Heidi, it sure was. It was such a luxury. And here's why. Because here's the process I'm about to tell you. So write this down if you want this recipe. I'll go slow. I'll email it to you. So the staff would start the laborious process of roasting cacao bean nuts, removing the nibs, grinding the nibs into a paste on a hot stone slab, and forming the paste into blocks. And they called these cakes, and which would be left to mature for several months. Like you can just put it right in. You had to let it mature, which sounds kind of gross. The cakes were melted into milk, water, or wine. Now, okay, let me stop you there. They melted chocolate into wine. I mean, milk, yes. Water, yes. Would it be so what you could say I'm drinking chocolate and I'm not drinking wine. I'm drinking chocolate. Happens to be mixed with my wine, but nonetheless, it's chocolate. Ooh, and flavored spices. So I'm not having wine for breakfast. I'm having chocolate. Okay, I mean, I can see how, you know, uh, you went to, girl, the Cadbury factory. Yes, it is a fascinating process. Um, okay, and when I read that, Jamie, I thought of Dolores. Well, to Jamie's mother-in-law was named Dolores, like me. Um, but when I saw the chocolate and the wine, I did think of Dolores. I've never gotten into chocolate wine, chocolate martinis. Now she's like, well, we get on board with that. Yeah, I'm not a wine drinker anyway. But and we thought, like when I first was introduced to chocolate wine by Jamie's mother-in-law, Dolores, I was like, wow, that's neat and new. Apparently not. Apparently they were doing this in 1717. So it's good to bring the old recipes back, isn't it? So, and it was a time-consuming method. And making chocolate meant that the hot beverage was not available to the masses until 1729. So I've never gotten 1729. So we're up to 1729. Everybody's getting off nibs and crushing them and making cakes and melting them in wine and milk. Oh, okay. So try in wine in Austria and Germany. They do it like that. Do you know what? I like a hot chocolate Bailey's. If I'm gonna put any alcohol in my hot chocolate, it's gonna be Bailey's. I just that's who I am as a human being. It's like I said, this was a very time-consuming method. And again, the masses weren't able to get it till 1729. What happened in 729, you ask? Well, I will tell you. Oh, that's okay. You're fine. Can we get it Snickers? I'm sure if you tried hard enough, you get any kind of flavored martini, wine, vodka, whatever. Romchata in hot chocolate. Oh, we'll have to try that. So what happened in 1729 to make it more available to the masses was a patent for grinding was granted by George II for a grinding machine to make a finer chocolate powder. The grantee was Walter Churchman, who used the water-powered wheel to crush more beans at a time. So now you're able to crush more beans. Because to take these nibs off and just be like like in a pestle and mortar or molcajete, you just crush some beans, nibs up. That's going to take a long time. So this Walter Churchman, used the water-powered wheel to crush more beans. This business this business that Walter Churchman started then passed to the hands of Joseph Fry. If we go back, remember Joseph Fry was the guy who invented the first chocolate bar, almost the Willy Wonka of his time, and which is so relevant, so relevant. So the business passed on to Joseph Fry, and under generations of the Fry family, and you can still get chocolate bars that are fried chocolate bars. Yeah, see, now you need a candy bar. See, this is a problem with me. I tend to do a lot of stuff about food. Sorry about it. I'm sorry. Or drinks. So obviously, and the Fry family had it, and it became a large commercial producer. Like I said, you can still buy Fry candy bars now, but it was he was the largest commercial producer of chocolate in the UK until 1919, when it merged with what? Cadbury. So Cadbury fried candy bars merged with Cadbury, and here we are today, eating all the Cadbury we can get in our mouths. And so a cup of chocolate was no longer in the grasp of the wealthy Londoners, although the sweet milky concoction bears little resemblance as to what it originally started out as. So obviously now, this is history lessons, girl. This is I got this from BBC News, BBC History News. Uh, yeah, I know. I try not to pick food, but I'm a chunky person, so, so I'm okay about talking about food. So again, if you think to what we drink now, a lot of it is, a lot of the hot chocolate, like Swiss Miss. I'm just gonna, if you're not from America, Swiss, you probably know Amanda. A high Swiss Miss is packets of hot chocolate. You can get them plain, or you can get them with little marshmallows already in them, dehydrated in there. You put it in water. I prefer my hot chocolate milk. I just don't want to do the hard work, so I use water. Unless Dave's home, then he makes it because I'm lazy. But it's so different now. To like we could, like I said, we could just go to Starbucks or Costa or reach into our cabinet and make us hot chocolate. And back then, it was like, you had to be wealthy, and it wasn't even called hot chocolate. It was just called chocolate. So that is the first of my little, now we're going to stay on the subject of drinks, y'all, though. Fry's tin, so collectible. Yeah, I haven't, I think I found an old one once. That's the thing. They do go for good money, the Fry tins. And they are, like I said, you can still get Fry candy bars now. But so I thought it was fascinating, the whole history of hot chocolate. I thought you guys would get a kick out of it, especially the ambergris. That was a lot. But still interesting nonetheless. Sorry, excuse me. I need to drink myself. I am drinking orange juice. Not because I'm healthy, because I came back with a slight cold. I'm at the tail end of it now, but I'm like, oh, the vitamin C I can get. Get it down you. So I'm fine. It's all fine. But so here's another, and because what I do is, oh my God, you have a chocolate. Everybody, we're going to go see Heidi, because that's gorgeous. I'm going to go now see Heidi and go to the chocolate museum. Turkish delight. Why? Chocolate. Girl, I don't even like actual Turkish delight. So why you would put chocolate on it is a mystery to me. I've never had. I've tried Turkish delight. Not a fan. Some people love it. It's kind of like Marmite. You love it or you hate it. So so as I was, and so Margot, do I feel jet lag? Yes, Margot. I slept for like 17 hours straight. I got back. So yes, I do. I did feel jet lag quite bad. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I mean, it was fine. Like my Sunday morning when I woke up, I was great. I felt fine. Do you know what I mean? But so as I scroll through my stories, I have a lot of stories saved because I have a lot of fun stuff I want to bring you guys. And as I'm scrolling, I see this other history of another drink, which I wasn't even aware of. And I should be ashamed of myself as a Texan for not knowing about this. But I have a good excuse. I don't drink coffee. Don't drink it, don't like it. And if it's more hot drinks you want, we're going to talk about the history of pecan coffee. Yes, from Texas Monthly. The author is D. Barry Mitchell. So, um, I and for the sake of arguments, we're going to say pecan. We're not going to have that fight. Um, we're going to call it pecan. Uh, Yeah, it's like it's I don't know. It's kind of like a gel. Yeah, it's what Amanda says. It's that I don't particularly like Turkish delight. I'm not a fan. Um, yeah. I see. Yes, I love pecan coffee. Okay, I didn't even know it existed. But my excuse is I don't drink coffee. So and it's right. No matter how we pronounce pecan, pecan, no. For the For argument's sake, I'm calling it pecan the rest of the story. So don't come for me. Um, and I have to admit, I love pecans. Anything with pecan, I will crack a pecan. I'll pick a pecan off the ground. I had my family up in Texarkana has pecan trees everywhere. A child was just picking them off the ground, cracking them and eating them. I love the taste of a pecan. And it, here's why. Pecans bring me great joy. One of the state, it's a state tree of Texas. Pecan beer. Oh, I would drink that. I would totally drink that. Um, so here's why pecans just in general bring me joy. I used to, my grandma, my father's side, my grandma on my father's side, lived in Del Rio, Texas. And all around her house, she had pecan trees. They were everywhere. Hey, Mary. Come on, well, fresh pecan. Oh, yeah, you'd love fresh pecan. Hey, Mary, thanks for popping in. Um, and we would sit, me and my, so here's the backstory. My grandma didn't speak any English. She only spoke Spanish. I, as we know, and my Spanish is at best Sesame Street level. I mean, that's probably giving me credit. Um, so so there was a lot of conversation. But I remember sitting there on the porch after grandma had had all his kids go gather up all the pecans and these big baskets, and we'd sit for hours just cracking them. Without not a word passed between us, just us looking at each other, cracking the pecans. And I remember how that made me feel, knowing that there was yeah, they do get pretty high, Heidi. At least the ones in Jamie's house are pretty big. Um, and I remember how the feeling of sitting next to my grandma with little or no communication, but communicating by doing an activity that she enjoyed, I enjoyed, and then we would, after we got them all shelled, oh, she didn't cook with them. She'd brought out these pots of caramel she'd get from Mexico, and we just dip the pecans in and eat oh, and girl, yeah, yeah. Well, our grandma taught us a way to crack them together, so like we didn't hurt our hands. I mean, my grandma was clever having us all crack those pecans. She was like, "You can put y'all to work." Um, yeah, and it was a bonding time. And like I said, Sesame Street Spanish. My grandma didn't speak any English, and that was all we did. She would hug me and kiss me and talk to me. I didn't really know what she was saying, but I knew that sitting with her cracking pecans just filled my heart. And even now when I crack them, I think of my grandma. So but so anytime I come across uh anything about pecans or stories about pecans, it really brings a smile to my face. As you can see, I'm really sorry. I'm really, it just brings me so much joy. But pecans have been an important part of Texas since at least 6750 BCE, when many indigenous tribes not only ate pecans, but also traded the nut as currency throughout the southern parts of the United States. You have a chocolate fountain, and we would live and eat. I would just, it would stop. It would constantly be on. It'd be like you know how people have like water features? I'd have a chocolate feature in my house. It'd be on all the time. Um, so, and the word pecan has its origins in Algonquin language, and it's believed to be from their word pacany, which roughly translates to the nut that requires a stone to crack. True. Oh, thank you, Monica. Grandma had us out there cracking nuts, girl. And once you get inside a pecan, once you open, you get into the treasure that is inside that shell. You come across it's like a slightly sweet nut, like a soft meaty nut with almost like a hint of caramel. I don't know how to describe it. If you've never had a pecan, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you because pecans are life. So, now the flavor lent itself to a drink called sorry, I'm going to slaughter this, but bear with me. Pau Chicora, a nutrient-rich fermented nut milk used by Native Americans for centuries. So they would use, pecans, the Native Americans, to make this drink, which was obviously nutrient rich, and which they probably needed during times of when, hunt, when there was not enough food to hunt and maybe their stores ran out. They always had the pecan to rely on. Also, during times when coffee was in short supply in the South, which was so the Civil War led to President Lincoln placing blockades on harbors in the South. So he was blocking the harbors in the South so coffee couldn't come in to the South because there was a Civil War on. People in the South had to think of creative ways to extend their coffee that they had. So they're like, I got just this little bit of coffee. What am I do with it? What am I doing? So they had to figure it out really quickly because they weren't getting any coffee in. And so coffee substitutions in Texas included pecans and its shells, which I was like, what? I mean, shells? Well, I'll explain the process in a minute. But I just thought, you're using the whole thing, which also is great. That you're going to, I need to extend the life this coffee because they have that much, and I'm not getting any for whatever reason. You're not getting it. So what they would do when they would crush them, they were both the pecan and the shells were crushed into and roasted. So they were crushed and roasted into a fine powder and added to a small portion of coffee. The result was a balance of flavors from bitter coffee to the naturally sweet pecan. So fascinating. I mean, I was just fascinated. I didn't even know pecan coffee was a thing. And it goes on and on. They did a lot with pecans, and it makes me proud to be, Mexican. So Mexico also had its own drink. Atole Monica, please don't come for me. Atole de nuez, traditionally prepared with pecans and drank for generations. I mean, girl. Well, it's awesome. There's also like a wildcat that people drink. Like they pick the beans out the doo-doo. Okay, that's too much for you. They roast it. No. Yes, Monica. I wish you were here so you could tell me how to say it. Atole de nuez. So that's what, and this was traditionally prepared with pecans. So, which I found fascinating. And also in several early articles in Texas newspapers, they would refer to this as pecan tea. The entire nut, including the shell, was pulverized into a smooth paste and mixed with. Oh, please! Oh, thank you, Monica. You're such a good liar. Thank you. So this was mixed with water or milk. So they'd crush the whole thing, and they'd add a bit of cornstarch for to thicken it up, and cinnamon, and added the cinnamon, and they enjoyed it for breakfast. I mean, that just sounds delicious. I do like a tea. Now, funny, I don't drink coffee, but I will drink a tea. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't drink tea till recently. Obviously, there's no shortage of coffee in Texas now. And these days, Texans have kept the tradition going by making all kinds. There's no end of pecan coffees. You can go to any grocery store in Texas and find pecan coffee. And also, Texas is the largest exporters of pecans in the U.S. And I can attest to that because everywhere you go, there's pecan trees. Everywhere. I mean, my friend's father planted one in her yard. We were young. We must have been about 8, and we were like, "How long till the pecans grow?" And he was like, 5 years. We're like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll be like 11 then. God, got to wait that long." But I can buy them here, and I usually buy them shelled because I'm lazy. Well, it's hard to find them in the shell. I mean, around Christmas time here, you get all kinds of mixed nuts, and you get like walnuts, Brazilian nuts, pecans, this, that. But I just want pecans. And you can buy small bags of pecans in the shell. They be pricey though. I can go to Costco and get a whole bag of pecans shelled for like almost as much as a bag of unshelled pecans cost. So I'm gonna go get the unshelled ones. And so long live the pecan, y'all. Long live the pecan. There's no sugar of pecans in Texas. I know. And oh, this was going to tell you about the hot chocolate. Let's go back to hot chocolate for a minute. At Christmas time, we went to Jamie for 74. We went to Jamie's house, and we were supposed to go on a Christmas hayride situation in her neighborhood. Her neighborhood. If you saw my video, my Christmas video that I know it just dropped. Sorry, I was late. Sorry. We're actually in Jamie's neighborhood, which is called Pecan Grove. I mean, could you be more apt? So while in Pecan Grove, we were supposed to see the lights this one Friday, the Friday night, I believe it was the 15th of December. Everybody showed up at Jamie's house. We had snacks, we had food, we were gonna eat before we went, and it poured with rain. Like the whole day it just rained so hard. So Beth came over, and everybody's at Jamie's house, her family, Beth, we're all hanging at Dave's there, we're all hanging out. And they canceled the hayride. So what happens is they have a trailer pulled behind a truck that goes all around the neighborhood, because the whole Pecan Grove plantation, which is what the neighborhood's called, is known for its beautiful Christmas display of lights. So we didn't get to go, but Jamie's niece Tiffany made hot chocolate. I can't remember how she made it in a crock pot. So I'm sure there's a recipe out there on the internet for it, and it was delicious. It was like all this melted chocolate. She put like heavy cream in it, and we ladled it out and put it in these like hot chocolate cups. It was delicious. It was amazing. And that's kind of when I saw the hot chocolate story. I was like, this will be good, because I just had a bunch of hot chocolate in Texas. And she made it almost like the old fashioned way. There was no chocolate pot involved, because that had been amazing. But I don't know I don't think I'd want to use a chocolate pot now, because I wouldn't want to mess it up. It's probably over like 200 years old. I'm not messing with it. But she did make crock pot hot chocolate. So go check that out if you guys are looking for something. It's snowing, you're snowed in, you can't, or you just don't want to go out because it's too cold. Look up a crock pot hot chocolate recipe and give that a go, because that was actually really delicious. So that was fun. And tea I have drank recently. Okay, I know you know the story about when I went to the doctor and he told me to drink tea when I had a sore throat, because he said the chamomile tea, well, it has this natural antibiotic. So I was like, don't drink tea, sir. But I played along and drank the tea, and it worked. And I was mad because it worked, because I wanted antibiotics. But the tea actually worked, and it made me feel a lot better. So now when I feel crummy, if I'm getting a sore throat, if I'm getting, if I'm feeling a little under the weather, I will drink a chamomile tea. And I drink it with mine with honey. Not any fancy honey. I don't buy that expensive honey. I go to the store, get a squeezy bottle, and squeeze the honey out. And that's what I do. So it's all about hot drinks today, because we are in the throes of winter. Unfortunately, at the moment, we are in the throes of winter, and it's going to be here a while. So I feel like you should make the most of it. Go make yourself we had to keep stirring it every 20 minutes. Yes. Yeah. In the crock pot. That's right. You had to keep, you say we, I never started. Jamie started. I was like, did you stir that hot chocolate? I am quite lazy, y'all. So, you had to keep stirring this, but it was amazing. It was delicious. And it's like I said, if you're not going out and you have spare time, don't go to the levels of pre-Victorian, where Georgian, I think they were Georgian. Yeah. The Georgians in, the UK, the Georgian period, where you're stirring it and you're making little cakes out of it. But you're buried, so you have plenty of time. Tell Brad to go make you some hot chocolate in the crock pot, Marco. Say, Brad, make me some hot chocolate in the crock pot, since I got to make you breakfast all the time. Just kidding. Brad probably hates me. He's like, why are you hanging around that redhead who always mouthing off at me? But yeah, it is that time of year. Well, good luck. Oh, come on, Brad. Do a sister, do right by a sister. Give us some hot chocolate in the crock pot. But yeah, it is that time of year where, it's comforting. You want, the whole pecan coffee story. I don't even drink coffee, but the story about pecans and it reminding me of, growing up with my grandma. It's that time of year where you want kind of like a big hug. I'm not sure I'd want to drink. Poor Brad. Margo, poor Brad. Now I feel bad for Brad. Um, but it's that, it's those kind of things where it just feels like a big warm hug. You know what I mean? Like, oh, grandma, and oh, a nice warm hot chocolate. Ooh. Or, nice, good tasting cup of coffee or tea. Tea always in England, tea always makes everything right. Something goes wrong, you want a cup of tea? I'll make you a cup of tea. How about get you a cup of tea? No matter what it is. It could be your car blew up or your dog ran off. You don't get a cup of tea. Whatever the situation, you could have just won the lottery. You want a cup of tea? So I just think this is a time of year where everybody needs a little bit of warmth. And sometimes that's going to come from a good cup of whatever you're drinking. Even a tea cures all. Even if it's got a little, Bailey's in it. That's fine as long as you don't have to drive nowhere. Make yourself a hot toddy. Oh, I wonder what the history of hot toddy is. I'm going to have to look that up because I don't want to know that. Or whatever it is that brings you joy during these long winter months. I also want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of the thing that brings you joy every second and fourth Friday of the month. And, you guys can come here and hang out anytime I'm live. You don't even have to talk about the subject. You can talk about whatever. You can throw something out there at me. You can throw a subject out at me and we'll talk about it. And that's what vintage subject, anything you want to talk about vintage, whether if you're reselling, you want to talk about that. Fair enough. If, you want to come on and have a chat with me, hit me up. My email, it's in all my other videos, or I think it's on any of my sale videos, my email's on there. So like if I drop sale, my email's on there. Or hit me up on Instagram. I'm always on there, messing around, looking at reels too long when I should be going to bed. And I just want to be able to bring everybody some fun. I just want to have a bit of fun. And so I want to be your warm cup of whatever. You want to be your warm cup of chocolate. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna let you go for now. It's Friday. People probably got things to do. People probably got pipes to wrap because it's gonna get cold. I'm so sorry. And go make yourself a nice hot drink. Go make yourself a nice hot drink and sit around and do bugger all. How about that? Marshmallow fluff makes everything better too. Right out of the jar. All right, guys, you take care, and I will see you on the fourth Friday of this month. Take good care, and I will see you next time. Bye.